Well, as you know, we've got some strong interviews to get through on this edition, and next up we're talking to one of Prince's closer friends, Sheila of Glamorous Life fame. And that's Glamour Boy of East London discothecing. Derek Boland has been interviewing her.
Hello, Sheila.
Hi.
First of all, how long have you been over here, and what do you think of the beautiful British weather, for starters?
Well, I've been in Europe for 2 weeks, and I just got to London today. I'm leaving tomorrow, and it's raining. I have a cold, but it's great.
It's great. See you reading Black Echoes. Do you think much of the English sort of publicity in the English magazines to do with the music?
Well, I don't get to read too much of it, only when I come here, and by the time I pick up the paper, you saw that I just picked it up and you come in, so I don't get to really read it.
Right.
Yeah.
A bit about your past. I was reading little bits and pieces about your biography. You've been, music's always been in your blood from very young, and can you tell us a little more about your early influences and how you got into it?
I started when I always say 5, but it was probably younger than 5, probably 3.
3?
Because my first show, I was 5 years old. I played with my father, Pete Escovedo, who was a percussionist, and he used to play with Santana. And I grew up listening to Latin jazz music. So I think that that's helped me a lot to become a good professional musician. I grew up in a good environment of music, and my inspiration was my father. I learned a lot watching him struggle through the years of being a musician, and it's a hard life, and if you want to be a professional musician, you really have to be dedicated and devoted, and not give up, because if that's what you want to do, you have to go for it. A lot of times, mainly downs. I mean, it has its up and downs, but mainly downs throughout the years until last year. We were struggling, to survive and to eat and all that stuff, like a lot of other people do. And but we stuck with it because it makes us happy to play music, and it wasn't really the money. Even though we had to eat, we weren't making any money anyway. And
so you're still in there for the love of the music?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So your father was your main influence, and you started off when you were 3. The Glamorous Life, flying forward some 15, 20 years, I'm not quite sure. Your first debut album, is it you? Is it the Sheila E that you wanted to hear?
Oh yeah, I think it's great.
I think it's a very, very good album. The rock influence, where does that come from? Because you say your father's from Santana. There's you look Latin-y. The rock influence, is that the city life, or is that your own personal music tastes?
The thing is I think there's a variety of I give people a variety of music to listen to on the album. There's like an instrumental, the pop tune, Bella St. Mark, your ballad, New Rendezvous. Next Time, Wipe the Lipstick Off Your Collar is a symphony orchestrated kind of song. And I just let everybody know the different kinds of music that I've played and recorded over the years. And I let you know all the different kinds of music that I listen to. I grew up listening to Latin jazz, but in order to widen my writing abilities, I started listening to other kinds of music. When I was in the 3rd grade, I started playing violin for 5 years and got scholarships to go to special schools to continue to play in orchestras and symphonies. And I turned them down because I wanted to play drums, and went out and quit school and toured with my father instead. And I think I made a good decision.
What other artists? You've worked with a few. You've worked with Prince, people like Prince. You've worked with
Lionel Richie.
With Lionel Richie.
Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, and Herbie Hancock, George Duke, Denise Williams, Jeffrey Osborne. I can go on for another hour.
Keep going. It's terrific. You see, there's so many professionals as yourself in the business that take almost, well, I say so long to blossom out onto their own. Is it your own decision to come out on your own, or on your own?
No, it was a suggestion by Prince. We've known each other. We've been really close friends for 6 years. We met 6 years ago, and I had come off a Lionel Richie tour this February, the end of February this year, and he called me in the studio to sing Erotic City with him, B-side of Let's Go Crazy. And we went in the studio, recorded that, sang that together, and then I did some work with Apollonia 6. And after that, we did a couple other things. And he asked me what I was going to do since the Lionel Richie tour was over. And I said, well, we're going to be touring in about another 2 months, so I'll wait for him to go out. He suggested that I go out and do my own thing, and I said, well, I'm not ready, and I don't think I have anything to offer the public. And he says, sure you do. And he says, it's really easy, just go out there and try. And I'm a kind of person who likes challenges, and it was something that I hadn't done before, and just the way that he said it, I take his word seriously. And he introduced me to his management company, Cavallo, Ruffalo, and Fagnoli, and they're my managers now. And they introduced me to Warner Brothers. About 2 weeks later, I went in the studio and recorded and mixed the album in 5 days, and 3 weeks later it was out. So
5 days?
5 days, yeah.
5 days for The Glamorous Life?
Yeah, the whole album. Well, I was, real excited about going into the studio and really having full control over everything. I didn't have any pressure from the record company. They believed in what I was going to do. I didn't have any pressure from management and producers, Star Company. So I went in without any pressure and felt real relaxed in the studio, went in and started recording. And what happened was I was going to ask some of the top musicians, and I put on the drum machine and I said, man, this sounds great. Let me put on something else. And I put on the bass and the piano and the guitar and the vocals and the percussion, and I didn't stop. And before you know it, the song was done. I mixed it.
All on your own?
Yeah. And the engineer and then some of the people suggested that I just continue and do the rest of the album by myself. And I figured that was the best thing to do because I knew what I wanted to do. And
you knew what you wanted to hear.
What I wanted to hear, yeah. So instead of me calling somebody in to say, hey, can you play this for me? I said, what the heck? I mean, I know what I want. I can play it. So I did it. So it was done pretty fast.
So the amazing Glamorous Life LP done in 5 days, that must be some sort of world record. Nobody even puts down one track in 5 days.
I figured, see, I'm so used to being in L.A. when, you get into that L.A. kind of clique with those musicians. They take, and if they do it this fast, they take a week of basic tracks, Yeah. They take a week of overdubbing, a week of vocals, a week of mixing, and that's if you do it just like that. Most of the time, artists go in and record, and it takes them like 2 months to 6 months, sometimes even longer. And I see no reason why you should have to stay in the studio that long.
No, I mean,
you're in there most of the time that long, I think, because they don't know what they want, and they don't know what they want to hear.
Yeah. George Duke evidently played a significant part in a bit of your early percussion days. Yeah. Enlighten us a bit more about the George Duke saga.
He was my first, big tour, big band I ever played in, and I was really, really young when I went out on tour. The music that we were playing then was really, really, some of it was almost ahead of its time, I think. Now that I listen to it, I go, man, I was playing, that kind of music. It was really heavy, and it didn't hit me that way. It felt really natural to me to play that kind of music. And it didn't take me long to learn certain rhythms, like playing in different time signatures. I wasn't really used to that until I got into George Duke's band and also playing with Billy Cobham. They play in some time signatures. I mean, if you can't count it and you can't feel it, there's no way you're going to find where the one is. I mean, it's incredible the way that they play in and out of, playing 15 and 15 and a half. They make up these things. And I can't even explain, And a lot of times, I was the kind of person I couldn't really count it. I could feel it right away. You just show me once what it is, and I went right into it.
Where from here?
Right now I have to
Another 5-day wonder?
No, I have to go back to the States in a couple of days and remix a 12-inch. And after that, go into Minneapolis and go into pre-production with Prince. I'm going to be opening the Purple Rain tour, so it'll be Sheila E. and Prince together for the first time. It's going to be great, and we're going to start working on the staging and stuff like that. After that, the tour starts November 4th in Detroit. We'll be out doing the States. We'll come to Europe. We're going to do Japan, Australia, Africa, Canada. Basically the world, period.
The world, yeah. Sheila E. and Prince.
Yeah.
Sheila E., thanks very much.
Thank you.
What are you doing for lunch this evening?